what happens when you take a woman with boundless energy and an incredible singing voice and put her into our Pace TV kitchen? You get our very own opera singing chef, the multi-talented Elizabeth Podsiadlo. Elizabeth, welcome back to Pace.
Thank you, Jenny.
And now in the past, we have taken trips all over the world. We've been to Italy, France, Ireland, Germany. I can't even count how many.
Spain, I think we did a
Spain.
Spain. Yes.
And Spain, right. And are we going to travel today or are we going to stay at home?
Well, we actually are going to take a little trip, Jenny. We're going to take a trip into our hearts, into a place that is reserved for the highest of love in a person's life. And I think that's the love of a mother. I know that's how I feel.
Oh.
And so I'm very excited today to share with you a recipe that was my mother's and something that we really all came to be a favorite, and it couldn't be simpler, but I have a couple other dishes to show with it. So we'll round it out and make a beautiful Mother's Day meal.
Oh, I can't wait. And everyone's got their favorite mom's recipe, and
Yes.
I can't wait to see yours.
Thank you. I'd love to
coming
hear
back
some
to
of yours.
try.
Yes, I will for sure call you when you
All
smell
right.
the aroma
Yes.
wafting from the Pace Kitchen. Hi, everybody. My name is Chef Elizabeth, and I'm here today, as I said to Jenny, to share with you one of her recipes that she made that was one of my favorites. And it couldn't be simpler. As I said, the first ingredient is some good chicken. And what we've got is some chicken that has no antibiotics or hormones. And you can find it on sale sometimes, but it's worth it because it's grown slower and has more flavor, not so much water. So what I've got in this dish here is a mixture of drumsticks and thighs. And before I continue, I want to tell you the name of the dish is called chicken piquant. It's called chicken piquant because it gets this wonderful caramelized coffee color when it's baked. It's just a gorgeous color. And that occurs from the soy sauce that we add. But what we'll start doing right now is we're going to put together some of our ingredients. We start out with some brown sugar, some ground ginger. This is dry ginger. I would recommend the dry in this case because you're baking it for a long time, and when you use a fresh ginger, it doesn't hold up as long. We need the concentration of the powder. And then we're going to add a little bit of oregano and a little bit of rubbed sage. Now this is just some sage leaves I gathered from my garden. I tied and I let them dry, and you can grow that here in San Diego very easily. So we'll just put all these things together. The ginger, use about half of that. And the sage, this is going to be called rubbed sage. I'm rubbing it between my fingers, and it comes, it just crumples into there if it's dried well, Okay, remember, if you're going to dry any of your own herbs, that when you bring them in from outside, the first thing you want to do is wash them off, because a lot of dust resides on your herbs, and you don't need to be eating that, especially herbs like rosemary. I would actually dry rosemary after washing it in really hot water to get the pollution off, because it's a real sappy plant. Sage is not as sappy, but you want to be sure to wash it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to mix all these beautiful ingredients together. Mixing the sugar in with the oregano and the sage and that fresh ginger so that it's well mixed. And we're going to set this aside. Now what we have here is a beautiful assortment of fresh peeled garlic. And we're going to be pretty generous with this. And of course, this is entirely up to you. And, if you're going to make mom eat the garlic, make sure you eat the garlic too. So I'm just going to slice this. I'm not mincing it. I'm just slicing it. And what I'd say to you is, I know for a fact, because I've worked in restaurants, that Mother's Day is the busiest day of the year at restaurants. And, I love going out, don't get me wrong too, but I think this is one time maybe you should consider making dinner at your house for mom and turn your house into a kind of a restaurant. How's that sound? Light those candles that have been sitting in your drawer for 15 years that have never been lit. Bring out those candle holders, put on that tablecloth that you had dry cleaned 10 years ago, and dust off the silverware and just make a nice meal. Okay, so far, so easy. Like I said, in this dish, we have drumsticks and thighs. And I really would like to say, if you're a person who likes white meat in your chicken, this is not the dish for you. Unless you're very smart and you add the chicken breast later, because the chicken breast is going to dry out, okay? So what we're going to do is first we're going to start out with a drizzle of olive oil. We're going to put this all over the chicken. And I had already put it under the chicken so that the pan is coated well, okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to sprinkle that beautiful emulsion of herbs. After I'm done with this dish, and when we get this in the oven, I'm going to sing for you a piece. I'm sure you'll recognize it, and it's a tribute to all mothers. It's Ave Maria. I hope that you will like it. Let me just add the garlic. We've got a preheating oven here at Pace. And we're going to put this in a 350-degree oven, and we're going to bake it for an hour and a half. But after about 45 minutes, you're going to want to turn the chicken, because you notice I didn't season the bottom. But what's going to happen when we turn it is sometimes I'll turn it twice to get those seasonings on top into this beautiful liquid, which is simply a little bit of soy sauce. And I'm not going to pour it over. I'm going to pour it on the sides. Here, there, and here. Now, I will tell you too, if you crowd your chicken, like I've crowded mine in this big dish, you should know there's a lot of water in this chicken. And as it bakes, this is going to get a lot of water. Some people like to bake this until all the water goes away. You're going to bake it uncovered, but remember, you're going to turn it halfway through. But some people like to save a little bit of that beautiful gravy to put on the mashed potatoes. So it depends on what you're serving. So we're going to get ready and put this in the oven. Make sure it's at 350 degrees and uncovered. Okay, and now what I'd like to do is I'd like to sing you that song, but before I do, I'd like to introduce to you my pianist, John Danke. He and I have worked together for more than 8 years, and he's almost telepathic in the way he plays his piano when I'm singing, and I am so grateful. So, Ave Maria. Thank you, John. Thank you. Well, we've got the chicken in the oven. And what we're going to be serving with this beautiful chicken dish is mashed potatoes. My mother always served mashed potatoes with it. She wasn't a rice person, but rice would be excellent. And I would throw some currants and some garlic and maybe some cilantro in with my rice if I was going to do rice. But we're going to serve it with mashed potatoes. And since I have a feeling that most of you know how to make mashed potatoes, we're just going to move on to the dish that's more exciting. So what we're going to start with now is we're going to do a little satay, some stuff in our wok here. We're going to take our broccoli. And you all know this is the best part of the broccoli, the floret, which is supposed to be the most anti-cancer. And we have some other ingredients. We're going to put some garlic. And this time we are going to use some ginger. Now I have gone ahead and peeled this ginger just to save a little bit of time, okay? And we have some hot chili flakes, right? So before we put this in a very hot wok, what we're going to do is we're going to first, I haven't even turned it on yet, and I'll tell you, this particular unit that I cook on is really hot, so I'm going to wait just a minute. I'm going to add my, actually going to add a little peanut oil here. When you get a wok, a new wok especially, you want to coat the wok with a little bit of oil before you start. It's kind of like, think of it as like a cast iron pan. You want to just kind of keep it coated between washings. It just keeps the non-stick, okay? So we've got that in here, and we're going to put a little bit of sesame oil in. Now, you don't want to put a lot, just a little. Okay, to flavor it. I would say there's about a teaspoon. And you know what? Not to worry. If you're concerned about wanting to make this at home, you can get the ingredient list off of the website where we will put all the recipes there if you have any questions. All right. So we've got, so far, we flavored our peanut oil with a little bit of sesame oil, which gives it a peanutty taste. It's funny because the peanut oil doesn't really taste peanutty, but the sesame, especially the dark sesame oil, that has a peanutty essence to it. I love it, but you can go overboard, so be careful. Okay, so this is already on, so we're adding layers of flavor. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a little bit of our garlic, and actually I am going to shut this off again. I'm worried about burning it. I'm going to chop the garlic. I'm slicing it, actually. Do you see? I'm slicing it. I'm not making it too small. I don't mind big pieces. If you want it smaller, you can, but I wouldn't press it in a press, and I wouldn't really mince it. But you know, that's a personal thing. How do you like your garlic? I like it in slivers myself, especially when I'm mixing it with some gorgeous broccoli. And I'm putting about 4 cloves of garlic because we've got a lot of broccoli here. But again, that's up to you. Okay, so we're going to throw this. This will go right in our oil, which I've turned off for the moment because I still have to grate some ginger, but we'll turn it back on. It's like rocket fuel. It's like rocket fuel. You're cooking with rocket fuel here. Okay, so now what I've got is this one hair that just keeps playing, and the lady who helps me with my makeup stuff is just, it's going crazy. All right, but not to worry because you're going to make this at home. You're not eating this. The staff is. It'll be fine. Okay, we've got a nice sizzle going on in our pan here. The garlic is flavoring that oil just beautifully. Now I'm going to take this microplane, and it's got an interesting, it's not like a regular grater. It slices the garlic, and I'm going to actually slice it on the board first. Let me move this here for a moment. I'm going to slice it on the board. And this is actually the ginger that I'm grating now, you see, so it's going to get really fine. That's a good bit of ginger right there. And we're going to flavor our oil with a little ginger here. See, it's really, really super, super hot. Now, some folks might want to steam their broccoli first, but my family likes it a little crisp and wok. So we're going to throw this right in. All that gorgeous. Isn't that amazing how quick that was? Oh, and I forgot the chili flakes. Darn. Well, I hope they like it hot. Oh, just a few more. Okay. So what we've got now seasoning our beautiful dish is the hot chili flakes, the fresh ginger, the garlic. We've got peanut oil and sesame oil. And we're going to let this go for a minute. We're going to let that cook like so. This will only take a minute to cook. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to sing and cook at the same time. Now, this is not any famous fancy Chinese restaurant where we're sitting here going, oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, this is good. I don't do that too well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this. Okay? And I'm going to stir like so. Because I don't know about you, but my dogs love broccoli. But if I do this at home, I'm going to get it everywhere. Hey, I'm doing this pretty good, huh? Hey, I should try it. Whoa. So we're just going to let this go. While I'm doing this, John's going to play another song that I wanted to sing. I should tell you guys, my mother was a composer and a pianist. And so I was surrounded by music. And in the house I grew up in West Virginia, my room was right next to the kitchen and there was no door. And my mother was a fantastic cook. But my mother wasn't alone. I was also inspired by my godfather, who was French. And so they did a lot of smoking of cigarettes and cooking in the kitchen. And the foods were fantastic. My mother, we had a farm, we had cows, we had fruit trees, everything was fresh. It was just awesome. We're smoking up pretty good here. I'm going to actually put a little bit of rice wine vinegar in this right now. Give it a little acid, like so. And I'm going to cover this, do one more stir here. Oh, this is very exciting. Woohoo! Think we'll set off any smoke detectors? I hope not. Well, it'll make for a very interesting show. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to turn this super down. And what I'm doing right now, because remember, I didn't parboil or steam my broccoli. I just let it go fresh. So right now it's kind of being steamed. Okay, so I'm going to let that sit there. At home, you keep this on a low heat. If you're cooking with rocket fuel, you turn it off while you sing. Lesson learned. Nothing worse than burning broccoli. Trust me. A little bit of simple gifts, eh? My mom used to sing this to my brother. 'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to stand down where you want to be. And when you find yourself in a place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend I shan't be ashamed. To turn will be my delight, till by turning we come round right. 'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where you want to be. Or when you find yourself in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. Thank you, Dawn. Beautiful. It just put me in such a special place. And I think that's a pretty good message to share with your kids personally or anybody. You know, I'm pretty happy right now, cooking away in front of you. I hope you're getting inspired. Look at the beautiful color we have on this broccoli. A beautiful, as green as can be. It hasn't faded a bit. Okay, I'm going to shut this off for a minute because there's something we haven't added yet. We're going to add some almonds to this. I'm going to throw those in. Now, if you want, you could toast your almonds in a non-stick or dry skillet, not adding any oil, to toast them a little bit so they have crunch, so that the crunch will hold up. But right now, I like the way I was turning it with the lid. Okay. So we're gonna turn this on a bit more. What a gorgeous dish. Now, we've got the chili flakes in here, the fresh garlic, the ginger, the broccoli, and don't forget, we put this beautiful seasoned rice vinegar. Why seasoned rice vinegar instead of rice vinegar? Well, again, that's a personal choice. I have to compete with this wonderful sizzle, which is worth its weight in gold. But you know, the seasoned rice vinegar has a sweetener to it. It's sweet. So if all you have is rice wine vinegar, just add a little honey or a little sugar to it to give it a little tang. You give us another shot of this. And I'm going to add some soy sauce. A little bit of soy sauce. Because we did not salt this, remember? Oh my goodness, the flavors. What? Oh well. Oh, it's beautiful. We'll put the lid on. We're going to let this steam for a minute. Okay, we have, because we are a show with only so many minutes, we want to show you the finished product of the chicken. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring out that beautiful chicken. Keep this for the broccoli. And we're going to set it right here. Now, I'm going to bring this up here so you can see this. And you'll see it's got just a gorgeous color to it. You see how it's that beautiful color. I just need those tongs. And it's got a little bit of juice, so when we do our mashed potatoes, we'll be able to put that juice. Thank you. And then we've got some mashed potatoes here. But I want you to take a look at this. You see, it's cooked all the way through. It's a beautiful color. Again, some people like to have a lot less sauce to where it gets very, very thick. And I don't think necessarily that's the case here. Now, so this has been cooked for an hour and a half, and I just keep turning it. And I call this company chicken. I know there's lots of recipes that are called company chicken, but I have served this at many parties and made just huge, huge dishes of it, and then I'll put it on a little warming tray and people can nibble at it all night, and the kids love it too because it's not too spicy, but it's full of flavor. Okay, so what we've got here is a beautiful chicken leg, and what we're going to do is accompany it with the mashed potatoes here. This looks gorgeous. So a lot of people don't realize that my culinary experience is really the experience that I got from my mother. I learned all my cooking from my mother, who was quite a good chef, and experimented late into her life. And I will tell you that I remember getting mad at my mom because I would write down her recipes And I would do the recipe exactly as she wrote it down, only to go to her house and visit and find out she's changed it 3 different ways. And I'd say, don't change it, it's perfect. But I think this recipe was from a newspaper clipping that she had up on the wall in the pantry. And when she found it, I think it was like in the 70s. I'm not exactly sure who it was from or whatever. So look at that beautiful broccoli. It's really just beautiful. And then we've got our mashed potatoes here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to sneak a little piece before Jenny comes in. Let's see what's my favorite. Let's see. The chicken thigh. Now this is it too, is when I made this dish, I didn't use thighs with the skin on. I used skinless thighs because it's just less work for you. But I like the drumsticks with the full drum on them, even though it's a little bit messy. And that's the way I like it. And this is the part that will stay so tender. Oh, here we go. If you're serving it at a party, you could always tell your friends to do this, you know? This is so delicious. This is the best part of a cooking show, is you get to show everyone just how scrumptious this is. And I will tell you, as a teaching chef, the #1 thing to learn is how not to drool when you're teaching, yeah? You're thinking, well, that's disgusting. Well, I'm standing back. You ready? Man, it tastes just like my mom's. Just the right balance of brown sugar. You know, when you see all those big names on TV cooking, it's hard because you're not supposed to talk with your mouth full. But this is one situation where you can. Oh. Hey, Jenny. Jenny. It's time for your snack.
Oh, I could smell it all the way over there.
It's delicious. Let me I'm going to put some on a plate for you. I'm going to make you the whole deal so you see what it's supposed to look like, okay?
It's so beautiful in color, and the gravy I could see would be delicious.
Oh, honey, the gravy on potatoes. That's why my mom served it with the potatoes.
Right.
Let me just set this here.
Can I help?
Oh, this is good. What we'll do is we'll take a little bit of the potatoes. Oh, I'll leave them here. I'm sure they're appreciating me moving around. Okay, a little potato.
Oh, I get the company plate, huh?
Yeah, that's the only one. No, I have a set of these. These plates came from a group of ladies I used to sing with when I got married. They bought me a little more. This is a proper serving.
All right.
Okay, there we go.
There
A little
we
of that, a little of that,
Yep.
and then some beautiful broccoli on the side. Just a beautiful plate. And now this would be...
And colorful.
And colorful. There's a fork right over there.
Oh,
While you're getting that fork, what I'm going to do is scoop a little bit of this gravy.
Yeah.
Because the gravy is the gravy.
Oh, that's going to be the best part.
Now, you didn't take any schooling on how to make it look really delicious, so you better just go with your gut reaction, even
That's
if you
not
don't
hard
like
to
it.
do. That's not hard to do. Oh, my goodness.
No, really?
It is full of flavor.
Could you express yourself just a
Oh,
little
my
more?
goodness. Oh, my
Oh,
goodness.
yes, I want some more. Okay, and now the potatoes. Now, this is just a simple
Mhm.
potato dish. Let me hold it for you. I'll be your table.
Oh,
So she didn't take the class on how to eat in front of the camera. Another,
Oh.
you know.
that is really.
Now
really
there's
hard.
something. Now you got to put your pinky up,
Oh, yes.
and you do this a lot. And another thing you do is if you could fill your mouth really full,
I know. That's what I was doing.
and then no, I'm just kidding.
It's
I'm just kidding.
difficult to speak.
All right, okay.
But I have to interrupt here for a second because Elizabeth, the whole studio was in awe of your singing.
Aw, thank you.
Ave Maria can't be more beautiful than
Thank you.
sung in our little area here
Aw.
with all of us in rapt attention. It was beautiful.
Well, I used to sing that with my mom. My mom would play that
Oh.
in many, many German arias, and so it's a pleasure to be able to sing it in honor of this beautiful day.
That's great. That's great. Well, I know my mother's going to have to see this show. I'm going to have to show
Well,
her.
I hope a lot of mothers will see this show. I think it would be
Yes.
good.
Yes.
So the thing about this too is I used a low sodium soy sauce, and I want to make sure you all know that this low sodium soy sauce, remember the chicken with the no hormones and antibiotics. Do yourself a favor. You don't need all that extra medicine in your system. And
Very low fat.
it's very low fat, a little bit of olive oil. Well, it's dark meat chicken, so it's whatever. But the broccoli, very little oil.
Right.
And the potatoes, yes, there is half and half and butter in my
Well,
potatoes.
That's the only way.
That's the balance.
Yes.
And
that's to have it.
talking balance, you want to have a salty, creamy, you want to have something with tang, and you want to have something with crunch. And I do believe that with all that said, that's what we covered. We covered all that ground.
Exactly.
Well, this sure has been a blast. Can't wait till next show.
I can't either.
I don't know what I'm doing next show. We'll have to come up with something.
Well,
Flag Day? No.
Ah.
Easter? No. 4th of July?
4th of
Maybe.
July.
Maybe. You never know. And
I
boy, do
know.
I make a good blueberry pie. So I hope you'll tune back in, right?
Right. Now, what happens if you put more of these on now? Is it better for the hot peppers?
I'll tell you, that's a good question. I wish I had put the hot peppers in when I put the ginger and the garlic in, because you want that pepper to infuse that oil. But even adding them later, it really adds a burst of flavor. But if you do have a concern with spicy, you could also take one of those red chilies that's whole and dry and just put that in there. And then when you're done, you could pull the whole one out so nobody would be surprised with bits of pepper. So lots of good information.
Right.
And again, you can get the recipes if you go to atasteofpace.net. We will have all the recipes posted, and that's the best way to do it. And also, if you have any comments or suggestions or requests, you can always let us know there.
Yes. You know, you should record your music on your website.
Thank you. We'll put some. We should put some of the pieces that we've
Just a
recorded
little
through Pace
snippet
on the.
or something.
Yes, that's a good idea.
That would be so lovely
sounds
to listen
good.
to. I'd love to hear it
Yeah,
again.
we sure have a lot of fun here, and we hope that you will tune in as often as you can. And I believe I'm in rerun now, which is really awesome.
Are you? Yes.
Yes. So tell your friends, and you could always find me at a cooking class somewhere here in San Diego. Thank you.
Absolutely. And now you didn't use chicken breast in here on purpose because it dries out.
It dries out. And if you do use a chicken breast, use it with the skin on. And remember I told you when you put it in the oven, turn it after 45 minutes. That would be when you'd want to add that chicken breast. You know, and you could marinate it in all that rub and the soy sauce while it's waiting, because it's going to be hard to get the flavor. You could also, it's tough. I've tried it. My husband is more of a white meat guy, so it was
it's so much more flavorful though, the dark meat.
yes, and it retains the flavor, and it's not dry because it's dark. It's got a little more oils.
I could even see this dish with pork or other meats.
You know, that's it. And coming from a vegetarian, that says everything. Are you a vegetarian?
No.
Oh, I thought you were.
Very not.
You know, that's a
Very
good
not.
idea. We should try it with pork. That would be good, maybe with a tenderloin.
Right.
Give that a try. I'm going to keep nibbling. Why don't you keep
I
eating?
think that would
We'll
be
see
a
how
great
it goes.
idea. It is delicious.
And try the broccoli. Did you try it? Did you
Not
get any
yet.
spicy piece?
Broccoli's hard to eat on television. But
I'll make sure you don't have any in your teeth. I'm just kidding. Well,
yeah.
and it's not something you want to eat
Oh
cold.
my
You definitely
gosh.
want, full of flavor.
That is very, very good.
And she's not turning red, so it wasn't too spicy.
No.
So it's all good.
No, it could even have more.